Is it really time for the Baltimore Ravens to blow up this experiment? Before I get right into that, I want to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates each and every time we have breakdowns here at Sports Choice Plus. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. And without further ado, we're going to get right into the action. Looking at the Baltimore Ravens and their season, having an up and down season affected by the pandemic, and then willing their way into the playoffs and having a phenomenal first game and advancing to the divisional round only to be upset by the Buffalo Bills. It was very telling, if you will, the way that the Ravens just basically fluttered out to the finish line. And you're looking at right now with the news that broke today of Mark Ingram being released and Robert Griffin III being released from his role. It just makes you look down and wonder, is this experiment almost coming to an end? When you're looking at Lamar Jackson, just 1 year removed from being the NFL MVP, and you see exactly how his regular season was last year, how his playoffs were last year, and you look at his regular season this year, and you also look at the regular season the playoffs from this year as well, you see a lot of similarities. You see a lot of things that he has to work on as well. And I think the biggest thing is John Harbaugh has to make a decision. He has to make a decision because he quickly knows that, that championship window for the Baltimore Ravens team is closing very fast. When John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, that was during a time where I believe Harbaugh thought he had a couple of years with Flacco that was going to be Super Bowl-ish, if you will, and his team was going to be competitive and possibly make another Super Bowl. That never came to fruition. After they won that Super Bowl with the Ray Lewis team, the final team that he played with, basically they were, mediocre until they got Lamar Jackson and they made that change at the quarterback position. So one thing the Baltimore Ravens have to also realize is you have to build a team that's going to be able to beat quality opponents, not just your opponents that are bad, not just your run-of-the-mill Jacksonville Jaguar teams that you can beat up on. You have to build teams that are going to be tough, veteran-driven, and you also have to have a mixture of young talent, whether it be from free agency or drafts. And you also have to have a quarterback that can run the ball or throw the ball. When you're looking at Lamar Jackson, he definitely could run the ball. There's no question about it. But what that gigantic monkey on his back is, not being able to pass his way successfully out of situations in the playoffs and not be able to give his team enough firepower from the air to basically move the chains and to get the scores that he needs. Sunday, we saw the Bills commit to defense like we've never seen them commit to defense against a running quarterback. And it just showed you how they were able to bottle him up before he was injured, obviously, with the concussion. But they were attacking him all night long. A lot of critics have been blaming Greg Roman. A lot of critics have been, and that was the offensive coordinator, a lot of critics have been blaming John Harbaugh. But you have to ask yourself, they didn't do anything out the ordinary. The offense was very vanilla, and that was the game plan that John Harbaugh felt comfortable with going into that game. You look at Lamar Jackson, he was a sitting duck. He doesn't have his best offensive lineman. It's just so many things that are going against him right now. For him to go out there and try to win the game, it was admirable. But at the end of the day, the Baltimore Ravens have to do something to improve this team. You saw a little bit of backbiting from Willie Snead and Hollywood Brown after the game, and their comments were scathing. Basically about, they're not really getting the catches they want as far as, what they're used to. And Willie Snead, I guess, in New Orleans, what he's used to as far as getting the ball. But, it's more of Lamar's team at this moment. Just some advice, and this is from Harbaugh. This team right now is built like the Legion of Boom was built. When Russell Wilson was on his rookie contract, you're paying a lot of defensive guys on defense. There's not really a lot of money spent on the offensive side. So you're getting a lot of, run-of-the-mill third-round receivers, fourth-round, on a depth chart, third or fourth deep receivers. You're not really getting a number one receiver. Hollywood Brown, it was a high draft pick, but at the same time, rookie and second year. He's not really built to withstand a lot of punishment throughout a season. And, just as Harbaugh is preaching about certain things, there has to be accountability. When Lamar Jackson wins, oh, Lamar Jackson's great. Lamar Jackson's X, Y, and Z. But when he loses, you talk about, oh, we need better wide receivers. We don't have these many weapons. We don't have this, that, and the third. But when you're winning, it's all good. So I think Harbaugh has to take a look at the mirror. He has to sit down Lamar Jackson and put him in the mirror as well. And they have to look at the deficiencies. Lamar Jackson has to have better quarterback vision. When he looks at that first read and it's not there, glance over to your second read. Make sure you know how to read defenses. This offseason, I would get with some of the best minds like Peyton Manning. If you can, Tony Romo. Some of these guys that are retired and ask them for help. Hey, how can I do this, and keep my same arm strength and talent, but how do I tweak my mechanics to do other things? And when you see players getting released that just came a year ago, remember, Mark Ingram splashed a year ago into Baltimore, had a pretty good year, had an injury-plagued year this year, and now he's no longer on a team. And you know Lamar Jackson's going to want his big payday. The Baltimore Ravens have been getting away with paying, defenders for years. So now it's caught up with them. So I think in the heart of hearts, it's so many different things that Lamar has to improve on in the offseason. Throwing the football is definitely one of them. But the Baltimore Ravens are behind him, it seems. They have to make a choice soon because his contract is about to expire, and they're going to, chances are, have to franchise tag him. They want to keep him there in Baltimore. He's pretty good in the community as well. But the Ravens have to make a choice. You can't blame the OC all the time, because if they get rid of Greg Roman, then what? Do we blame the next coordinator coming in? Do we, how do we handle that? So to me, the Baltimore Ravens, when they lost that game to the Bills, the defense stood up and they stood tall. The defense held one of the top ranking Buffalo Bills offenses to just 10 points. So I think the championship window is closing. I think Baltimore has to make moves right now to keep not only Lamar Jackson happy, but to help build the camaraderie with the wide receivers. And it's just different. It's definitely different because it's disappointing because he had so many opportunities in that game versus the Bills. If he just looked over to his second read, looked over to his third read, he could have possibly got out a lot of those jams. He could have possibly got out a lot of those third downs and made first downs. So, all in all, I don't believe that the Ravens should tear down the full organization. I think they have a lot of tweaks they have to make, a lot of roster moves they have to make, and they have to make them now because you have quality candidates going left and right for OC jobs, defensive coordinator jobs. If you're making a change, you need to make it now. So, are you sports fans? Are you Ravens fans? Are you Bills fans? Are you NFL fans? Get in the comment section right now. Definitely check out Sports Choice Plus for all the updates each and every time we have breakdowns here at Sports Choice Plus. We thank you so very much and have a great one.